Hi Debbie.
Hi Ali.
So we're here to talk about the next session
Yes, session
of
2.
the Lent Course.
The Lent Course.
And it's just, I said that advisedly because there's something that's really struck me, is that you describe your Lent Course as learning to live in the generous love of God.
Yes.
But when it is advertised from the front of St Paul's, there's a huge emphasis on this course being about spiritual disciplines. So which is it, Debbie? Is it about living in the generous love of God, or is it about spiritual discipline?
Or both.
Or tell me more.
Yes. So spiritual discipline sounds a bit heavy, doesn't it? Or that's what I think of when I hear that word. I think of ought, should, adding more to my life.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's not very appealing, is it? Because most people are busy and feeling they don't do enough already, and they can't take on any more. So I don't want to come and hear about all the things I should be doing, but I can't do.
Yeah.
But actually, I wonder if we reframed it and said, actually, the spiritual disciplines, and that's a correct title for what they are. They're classically referred to as spiritual disciplines. But I like the phrase practices of friendship. Now, I think most people like practicing friendship because it involves getting to know somebody, hanging out with them, finding out the things that they like, the things that concern them, the things that perhaps upset them, and things that we could do together to get to know one another. So I think that sounds very different, and I think that's what Jesus invites us into. He doesn't put anything ill-fitting on us. He doesn't want to crush us with a longer to-do list because that's going to make us holy. I don't think that's the case.
So if I'm finding a spiritual discipline is sitting heavily on me or ill-fitting, then maybe there's something wrong there. Maybe that's more about me trying to earn God's favour rather than me trying to enter into friendship with God. Is that what you're saying?
I think it is. And I think, for example, if we are tired and exhausted, I don't think Jesus wants us to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to pray some more. I think he wants us to attend to our exhaustion more than he does prayer, because he knows how we're made. He's a compassionate, kind God. So he wants us to train, as we'll look at in later sessions, in ways that work for our lives. There's not a one-size-fits-all that says, right, this is the regime, and you've got to get with the program, because if you don't do with the program, clearly you're not going to make it. No, God is kind. And what works for, say, a young mum at home to maybe somebody who's retired, they're going to be two different sets of practices. And so it's finding out or saying to Jesus, what would you like me to do? What could we do together to deepen our friendship? And that, I think that sounds so much more inviting than I ought to do this. And so I hope we'll explore what that might look like and how that might bring grace and freedom into our lives. And I think it was Willard, a very wise man, who said, if the spiritual life hasn't led to grace and freedom, then we've missed the point. And that was a key moment in my life, which made me think about my Christian faith. And so I think for each of us, what would grace and freedom look like?
Wow. Thank you. That's a really, really thought-provoking question, isn't it? And I'm not sure that grace and freedom are the first things that come to mind when you hear the word discipline.
Exactly, yes.
But I am reminded of a particular paper that was written about how long it took you to master something. So I think it was something like 10,000 hours of practice
Wow.
to become a great musician. But I'm thinking the grace and freedom that you hear in a proficient musician's playing is a result of that disciplined practice, isn't it?
Mm.
So I guess maybe it's similar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And so I think we perhaps need to reframe some of our thinking round this whole subject. And as we explore that this evening, we'll come on to, I hope, what will be a really interesting time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ali.